Hey there, have you ever wondered why some people always seem to make the best decisions? It's like they have a secret superpower, right? Well, they do, and it's critical thinking. Guess what? You can develop it too. Welcome to my channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of critical thinking. So, what exactly is critical thinking? Simply put, it's the ability to analyze information objectively and make reasonable judgments. It's like having a supercharged brain that helps you see the bigger picture, solve problems more effectively, and make smarter decisions. Whether you're trying to ace your exams, crush it at work, or just make better decisions in your everyday life, critical thinking is your best friend, and it helps you cut through the noise, evaluate information accurately, and come up with solutions that actually work. Stick around because in this video, we'll break down the key components of critical thinking, show you simple steps to develop these skills, and even share some fun exercises to boost your brain power. Ready to become a critical thinking pro? Well, let's get started. All right, let's start with the basics. What exactly is critical thinking? In simple terms, critical thinking is the ability to analyze information objectively and make a reasoned judgment. It's like being a detective, looking at all the clues and evidence before coming to a conclusion. But why is critical thinking so important? Well, let's think about some everyday situations. Imagine you're deciding which new phone to buy. Without critical thinking, you might just pick the one with the coolest commercial. But with critical thinking, you'd compare features, read reviews, and maybe even check out a few tech blogs. In the end, you'd make a choice based on solid information, not just flashy ads. Here's another example. You're working on a group project at school or a team project at work. Critical thinking helps you analyze everyone's ideas, find the strengths and the weaknesses, and come up with the best plan. Instead of just going with the flow, you actively contribute to a better outcome. Critical thinking is also crucial when it comes to understanding complex issues. Think about reading a news article on a controversial topic. Instead of just accepting it at face value, critical thinking encourages you to question the sources, look for bias, and consider multiple perspectives. This way, you get a fuller picture of what's really going on. So whether you're making personal decisions, collaborating with others, or trying to understand the world around you, critical thinking is your go-to tool. It helps you cut through the clutter, focus on what's important, and make well-informed decisions. Now that we know what critical thinking is and why it's so important, let's dive into its key components. Stay tuned. Now, let's break down the key components of critical thinking. Understanding these will help you develop and hone your critical thinking skills. Ready? Let's dive in. First up, observation. This is all about noticing the details. Think of it as being a detective, gathering all the clues before solving a mystery. Keen observation helps you understand the situations better and collect the necessary information. For example, when you're in a meeting, paying close attention to what's being said, how it's being said, and even the body language of others can give you a deeper understanding of the dynamics and the information being shared. Next, we have analysis. This is where you break down information into smaller parts to examine them more closely, like taking apart a puzzle to see how each piece fits together. Imagine you're analyzing a news article. You look at the main points, the evidence provided, and the logic behind the argument. By breaking it down, you can understand the overall message and its validity. Inference is a process of drawing conclusions based on evidence and reasoning. It's like connecting the dots to see the bigger picture. For instance, if you notice that every time it rains, there's a traffic jam, you might infer that rain causes more accidents or slower driving. You're using observed data to make a logical conclusion. Evaluation involves assessing the credibility of sources and the quality of information. This helps you determine what's reliable and what's not. Say you're researching a topic online. You'd evaluate the credibility of different websites, the author's expertise, and the evidence they provide. This ensures you're basing your understanding on accurate and trustworthy information. Explanation is all about clearly and logically presenting your reasoning and conclusions. It's like teaching someone else what you've learned in a way they can easily understand. Imagine you're explaining a complex idea like climate change to a friend. You'd break it down into simple terms, use analogies, and ensure your reasoning is clear and logical. Finally, we have self-regulation. This is about reflecting on your own thought process and being aware of your biases. It's like being your own coach, constantly checking and improving your thinking. By understanding and practicing these key components, observation, analysis, inference, evaluation, explanation, and self-regulation, you'll be well on your way to becoming a critical thinking pro. Next, we'll explore practical steps to develop these skills. Stay tuned. Now that we've covered key components of critical thinking, let's dive into some practical steps you can take to develop these skills. Ready? Here we go. First, ask questions. Critical thinking starts with curiosity. Open-ended questions are especially powerful because they can't be answered with just a yes or no. They encourage deeper thinking and exploration. Here are some examples of good critical thinking questions. What are the underlying causes of this problem? What evidence supports this claim? And what are the potential consequences of this decision? By asking these types of questions, you start digging deeper into the topic and uncovering more meaningful insights. Next, gather information. This means collecting relevant data from various sources. Don't rely on just one source. Look for multiple perspectives to get a well-rounded view. Reliable sources include academic journals, reputable news outlets, expert interviews, and credible websites. It's also important to cross-check information to ensure its accuracy. For example, if you read something online, check other sources to see if they report the same facts. This helps you avoid misinformation and biases. Once you've gathered your information, it's time to analyze and interpret it. Break it down the data into smaller parts and examine each piece critically. Let's say you're analyzing survey results. Look at the numbers, identify patterns, and consider what they mean. Are there any trends? What do the results suggest about people's opinions or behaviors? By interpreting the data, you can draw meaningful conclusions that are backed by evidence. Critical thinking also involves considering different perspectives. This means looking at issues from multiple angles, understanding that there might be more than one valid viewpoint. For example, if you're debating a social issue, try to understand the arguments from both sides. What are the reasons behind each perspective? How do they affect different groups of people? By considering different viewpoints, you gain a more comprehensive understanding and can make a more informed decision. Finally, reflect and evaluate. This step is about taking a step back and thinking about your own thought process. Reflect on your decisions, the information you used, and the conclusions you reached. Now, let's get into some fun and practical exercises to boost your critical thinking skills. These activities are easy to incorporate into your daily routine and will make you a sharper thinker in no time. First up, daily practice. Just like any other skill, critical thinking improves with regular exercise. Here are a few daily activities to get you started. Try analyzing news articles. Look for the main points, check the sources, and think about any potential biases. You can also solve puzzles like crosswords or Sudoku to keep your mind sharp. Engaging in friendly debates with friends or family on various topics is another great way to practice forming and defending arguments. There are also apps and games designed to promote critical thinking such as Luminosity and Elevate. These apps offer fun brain training exercises to help improve your cognitive skills. Next, let's talk about group discussions. Participating in group discussions or study groups is a fantastic way to enhance your critical thinking skills. Discussing topics with others exposes you to different viewpoints and ideas. It challenges you to think more deeply, defend your opinions, and consider alternative perspectives. Whether it's a book club or a study group, or even a debate club, engaging in thoughtful conversations with others can significantly boost your critical thinking. Finally, writing and journaling are excellent ways to practice critical thinking. Keeping a journal allows you to reflect on your daily decisions and thought processes. Start by writing about the decisions you made each day. Ask yourself questions like, what was the reasoning behind my decision? Did I consider all the information? And what could I have done differently? This helps you become more aware of your thinking patterns and improve them over time. Here are some prompts to get you started. Describe a problem you faced today and how you solved it. Write about a decision you made and factors you considered. And reflect on a recent conversation and different viewpoints shared. This exercise encourages you to think critically about your experiences and learn from them. By incorporating these practical exercises into your routine, daily practice, group discussions, and writing and journaling, you'll be well on your way to becoming a critical thinking superstar. Keep practicing, stay curious, and watch your critical thinking skills soar. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe if you found value in this video. I'll see you next time.